Good afternoon. I'm waiting for, let's see. Looks like I'm live on YouTube. I'm checking to make sure that I'm live on LinkedIn because it's just swirling, swirling, swirling. Looks like it's trying to take me live. Okay. I guess I am live. It just doesn't, it's just not, it's not showing up properly. Okay. There we go. All right. It's just not showing up properly on my screen. So welcome back to whatever we're calling this. It is a great day to prioritize you. For those of you who are new to me, I am Tracetta Annell Washington, life balance coach and productivity consultant. And what I do is partner with women executives and entrepreneurs to help them have it all without sacrificing the things that matter most to them. And today, we are going to be talking about some tips, some strategies, hacks to managing your time so that you can get the most done that you want to. So the title of this live stream is 6 tips or 6 time management tips for executives and entrepreneurs. So I want you to do me a favor before I dive into the tips that I have for you today. I want you to do me a favor, say hello if you are tuning in live. If you are watching the replay, go ahead, drop that hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you are here. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Definitely, please say hello. Also, if you know someone who needs to manage their time a little bit better, needs to do a better job, go ahead and share this with them. Tag them in the comments or send them the link to the video, whatever. Make sure that you get this content into their hands or eyes, if you will. All right, so like I said, I have 6 tips, 6 time management tips that I want to share with you today. And these are kind of in the order of importance, if you will, or impact. I'll say it that way, or they're in the order of impact. So, number 1 is to establish priorities and stick with them. One of the biggest struggles or challenges that my clients face is knowing what to work on when. We have ever expanding to-do lists, and there are plenty of things that find our way onto our to-do list that are important. Some more important than others. Some could just be deleted altogether. Some could be delegated. But the thing is, if you don't have any priorities, then everything becomes a priority. So, what you want to do is establish no more than 3 priorities. And the reason why I like to stick with 3 is because you can only focus on a few things at a time. The more things you attempt to focus on, the more you dilute your focus. And I've used this example many times talking about a concentrated cleaner. Using this as an analogy, if you have a concentrated cleaner that you're using, if you split it in, half and half water, half cleaner, then it is now at half strength. Think about that as dividing your focus between 2 different priorities. If you do divide it across a 3-part or 1/3, I'll say it that way. If you dilute it to 1/3, where you have 1/3 of concentrated cleaner and 2/3 water, then you've diluted the focus even more, the concentration even more. Our focus, that's what it is. It's concentration. So the more things you try to divide your focus, your concentration, your attention across, the less powerful it will be. The harder you will have to work in order to get things done. So that's why I say 3. Once you get beyond 3, then you're so divided that it's going to be much more challenging for you to actually create some momentum on the things that you are wanting to work on. So sit down, determine what are the 3 most important things that you need to focus on for this quarter or the next 90 days in order for you to create some momentum in it. It doesn't mean that you're going to ignore everything else. A lot of times people are afraid to prioritize because they think that they're going to end up neglecting other aspects of their lives or of their business. And you're not going to neglect it. You're just going to put the majority of your effort and energy into those top 3. And then whatever's left then goes to those other things. And you also, it's important to say, or important to let you know, that as you focus on 1 thing or 2 or 3 things and bringing them, creating momentum there, you're also going to increase the other aspects of your life as well, because everything is interconnected. So as you improve one area, other areas will improve as well. So prioritization is not going to cause you to neglect other things. It's going to also help you to increase in other areas as well. Tip number 2 is to delegate tasks whenever possible. Now, I'm going to do a whole another live on delegation because it's important. Or I should say, there's some specific strategies that I like to share when it comes to delegating tasks. And a lot of times, managers, executives, entrepreneurs especially, struggle with delegation because they want things to be done a certain way. Usually, we want to hold on to it because maybe we've tried to delegate in the past and things didn't go really well. So we're having a little bit of trust issues over there, or we're having some control issues because we want it done a particular way. And if I give it to someone else, they may not do it the way I want it done. And when it comes to deciding on what to delegate and who to delegate to, it's really important for you to determine. I like to use the Eisenhower Matrix to determine what to delegate and what not, what to do myself. If there's a task or project that is urgent, but it's not really important, meaning it's not something that you actually have to do, that it doesn't necessarily require your expertise, that's a prime candidate for something to be delegated. Now, when it comes to being nervous or kind of worried about delegating to someone and it not working out or not turning out the way you expect it to, the key, and yes, it may be faster for you to do the task yourself. What can happen is, if this is a task that you do on a consistent basis, it's a prime candidate to delegate because you can teach your colleague, you can teach your employee, you can teach your child, you can teach your partner to how to do the particular task. And yes, in the beginning, it's going to take a little longer because you're going to have to go back and explain and say, it's going to take them longer because they don't know how to do it. You're going to have to explain and correct and whatnot. But over time, they will get better and more skillful. You're actually giving them an opportunity to grow and develop, either personally or professionally, depending upon who it is that you're delegating to. And it also increases your own personal development because you're now trusting a team member or trusting a family member or a relative. You're trusting someone else with something that you would normally do yourself. And so that gives you the opportunity to grow in that area. And it gives you the opportunity to focus on something that only you can do without having to worry about these other things in the background. So definitely delegate tasks whenever possible. Tip number 3 is to take breaks. When you need a break, take it. Stop working through lunch all the time. Occasionally, yes, you might have a looming deadline that requires you to work through your lunch to get it done. Or, maybe you're coming up on a proposal, you've got a major project and you're a little behind schedule. And so you need to maybe make up a little time. Yes. Okay. Every now and then we do need, things happen and it's necessary for us to do that. But that should not be your norm. And I find that a lot of executives, managers, and entrepreneurs, they consistently work through their lunch. They're sitting at their desk and they're eating while they're working on some other task. And the reason why it's so important for you to take breaks is so that you give your brain the rest and the recharge and the reset that it needs in order for you to be your most focused and productive self. Our brains have two different modes. We have focus mode and diffuse mode. And there comes a point where in focus mode where we kind of get to a place where we are mentally shut down, where we can't focus anymore, where we can't take any more information. And we have to shift over into that diffuse mode so that our brain can process all the information it's received and do a little bit of a reset, do a little bit of a recharge. And then we can come back and be more focused again. So by taking time to take an actual lunch break, as well as maybe a few breaks throughout the day to just kind of do a mental reset, 5 minutes, you can do 5-10 minutes is really great to give your brain the time that it needs to do that reset. I call it the power of the pause, or taking strategic breaks where you're doing it intentionally to step away, get some new perspective, give yourself that mental break that you need to recharge, and then you can come back fresh. So please, 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 please take breaks whenever you need one. Tip number 4 is to set some limits for how much you will work or how much time you will work each day or each week. Again, it's very easy when there's so much that needs to get done. It's very easy to just keep working until you're just kind of like exhausted and you can't get anything else done. I would encourage you to go ahead and set a time limit for how long you're going to work for your day. This will help to, it's called boundaries, right? When you have boundaries for your time, then that can help you to create that balance, what I call balanced ambition, where you not only you've designated time for your work, but now you have designated time for your personal life, for you to do some of the things that you enjoy, to spend time with family, to exercise, or to just relax, or do a hobby, whatever it may be. It's important for you to have some boundaries around the time that you will work. Again, yes, there will be seasons. Yes, there will be times when you need to kind of stretch your work time, but that should not be consistently. There's always going to be more work to do. There's always going to be more tasks that you could get done. But if you set your boundaries, what it's 8 hours, 9 hours, however long you want that to be, but set a time limit for either each day or for the week. So maybe one day, maybe you set a time limit of 40 hours or 35 hours for your week. And one day you work 10 hours, then another day you're going to work a few less hours so that you can balance that out. This will help you to, like I said, create that balanced ambition, create that work-life balance so that you don't sway too much to one area versus the other. Tip number 5 is to avoid multitasking whenever possible. First of all, multitasking is a whole myth. We cannot multitask. It is actually called task switching, where you are going back and forth between 2 or more tasks. Research has shown that it actually takes you longer to complete tasks when you are going back and forth versus when you are focused, as well as it causes you to make more mistakes because you're doing that back and forth and you're having to switch. And part of the reason why you end up losing time switching back and forth between the multiple tasks is because there's a residue, there's a task residue where you were working on one thing and now you're switching to something else. And now your brain has to adjust and figure out where you are with this. Sometimes if it's a simple task, that switch may just take a few moments, maybe a minute or two. If you're working on a more complex task, that switch can take a little bit longer for you to get into that flow and figure out where you were and then get back into a flow before you switch to another thing. So every time you switch back and forth, you're losing time. So stop multitasking or task switching. Pick one task, focus on that, bring it to completion or at least to a stopping point. And then make some little notes on where you're leaving off on the task so that when you come back to it, you know exactly where you left off so that you can pick back up and keep things rolling. And finally, tip number 6 is to use technology to your advantage. Take advantage of the automations. I could do another live stream just simply on using technology to be more productive or manage your time better. But one of the ways that you can do that is to set reminders. Use a digital calendar and set reminders so that you get notifications to remind you of meetings or to cue you to shift from one project or one task to something else. You can automate things, right? Or use templates. One of the things that I like to do is if I have emails that I send regularly at the same type of content, because chances are, whether you're working for a corporation or an organization, or if you own your own business, chances are you have a few emails that you send regularly, same type of content that you send regularly. I like to create a email signature with my canned response for that particular, whatever the question is or whatever the information is that I want to relay. And then all I have to do is switch my email signature to that, and it'll pop up my entire canned response. And then I can customize it for the person who I'm sending it to. But that way I'm not having to type that information over and over and over again. I've got it right there in an email signature. Now you could also have that in like a separate Word document or a Google Doc and copy paste, but why, shave off another minute or two simply by just having it in your email signatures where you can just select the appropriate one. That's one way that you can use technology to your advantage. Also, if you struggle with focusing, if you have a difficult time but once you get into a flow, staying focused because of distractions and interruptions, one of the things that I like to do is to put my phone on do not disturb or I have an iPhone, so put it on focus mode so that I don't get any notifications. That means that no text messages or anything they're not going to even pop up on my screen, because even when you put your phone on silent, your screen will still light up on your phone. Or if you have, it might vibrate if you have your ringer set to both sound and vibration. So rather than having that subtle distraction off to the side, go ahead, put your phone on do not disturb or in focus mode so that no notifications come through and you're able to focus on the task at hand until you're ready to reconnect with the world through your device. And again, there's all different types of ways that you can use technology to your advantage, but look for opportunities around you for the tools and apps that you're already using, or research some. If you know that there's something that you struggle with, research. I'm sure there's an app for that. As many apps as there are out there nowadays, I'm sure there's probably some sort of app that can help to alleviate some of the tasks or stress that, that you experience based on all the different things that you need to do in your business or in your personal life. And with that, I'm going to say that is all that I have for you today. I hope that you have enjoyed today's content, and I'm curious. Let me know in the comments if any of these tips were surprising, or let me know which one of these you're going to start implementing today so that you can be your most productive self. And I will see you all right back here again on Thursday for another live stream training on creating balanced ambition in your life. Take care.